Hello. I'm going to look over the pairs now for the coming week, and I'll put the timing in the description box. A number of pairs have become somewhat confusing to me, so I'm going to step back from them. I'll take a glance, but judging by what's materialized and with uncertainty, I will probably not put too much of a view on them, and we'll wait for clarity. But starting with the dollar, going into next week, we have the FOMC on Wednesday, I think the debt ceiling on the same day or around then, the Dutch elections on results on the 16th, and probably Brexit triggering Article 50 sometime next week too. So four major events. The dollar has not performed as I was looking for with an aggressive 1-2 account. It does look like we're correcting further. Just to show the larger picture, we are in what I'm marking as wave 5 now, and just back off from there. 1, 2, 3. I have to label this differently. It looks confusing, but it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm looking for another high still. Now, it's showing some weakness, and I'm looking for at a few possibilities here. If it's going to maintain a bullish slant, unless there's a further development here for something like a leading triangle, I'm going to look at this as a possible triangle here for wave 4 overall, or a possible ending diagonal overall. So unless this turns into some kind of leading diagonal here, I'll be looking at it like this basically. From wave 3 of 5, 1, 2, pardon me, A, B, C, D, E, and then turning up from there. So it would be a triangle for 4, and then another new high above, what was it? Above here for wave 5 overall. Alternatively, it could see something like an ending diagonal for 5, so you would have 1, and there'll be a 2, and then 3, 4, 5, so it'll look something like this overall for wave 5 of an ED, for 5 overall, and then a bearish dollar scenario. Alternatively, for a bearish look on this, as it's become quite complex and not fun to trade. Complexity in wave 4s can be really confusing, and unless your stops are wide, you can get taken out quite easily. But another scenario to look at is just a larger, simple 3-wave move for something like A, B, C. Probably a break of this low. There's trendline support, something like that, and then a move up. So whether it turns into a triangle, an ending diagonal, a larger wave 4, I'm looking at some chop ahead and some crossover awkward price movement. I don't have an aggressive bearish scenario from here because this move down from December is corrective. So I'm taking it as 4 or a part of 4, and we'll see what happens from there. So overall, the dollar remains bullish. But going into Wednesday, just one second. Going into Wednesday, already the vote has already been priced in as a hike, very likely, very quickly priced in. So there seems to be some awkward situation going on here. I don't have an aggressive count to the upside anymore. I don't have a heavy bearish count either, so it looks like it's chopped for 4 and then a new high to follow. Now for the euro dollar, I'm looking at a similar situation here. There is some possibility that you have a 5-wave move here with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we're seeing a 1, 2, 3 correction. But it's also likely that this is going to turn into a 1, 2, 3 again overall, and then a move down. There are a couple of scenarios here. This could be a leading diagonal overall, and then we have, this is wave 2, and then a heavy bearish wave 3 overall. But to link it up with the DX, it's also possible that this is a larger 4, and we could be looking at just one more low beneath 103 from January to see a new low towards parity. So this could also turn into a triangle here because this looks like 3, 1, 2, 3, and now we're correcting in threes as well. So there could be a situation like A, B, C, D, E, and then a down move for a triangle as well. What I would say at the moment is that it does not look like there is any selling opportunity right now. The selling opportunities after the election and this period here, which was kind of tricky too, those moments have passed for now. So it's become choppy. There are better pairs than this to trade in the near term. I mean, it's clearly 3 up from here. This is choppy. The flat that I was working did not materialize. So there's some kind of chop going on here. So I do like the triangle scenario. Otherwise, let's see what happens in the next few days. I will update. Cable has not put in a situation where I see 128 and above is likely right now. I'm favoring the triangle idea, which I've been over a few times. It looks like price is pretty close to putting in a low for D of the try. There is a lot of divergence on the 4 hour here, so we may see one more low and a sharp reversal. That would work really well, or it may just start to correct from here already. But I have enough here to count it as the third part over of this 3-wave move within a triangle, and to see a move up for E of the triangle to 124, 125, anywhere 126 even, anywhere beneath this high. So a spike move, kind of like you saw at the presidential election for the E of the euro dollar triangle, depending how you want to view the euro dollar, because there are a couple counts on this, but this spike here, something like that, which I think a lot of people are marking as E of the try, that could also be 2 of 3. So in cable, the best I'm definitely looking for a bounce. So that will probably be a kind of Brexit thing and maybe a sell-off after, but I'm definitely looking for a bounce for E of the try. If that develops further into something more aggressive where you do get an overall 3-wave move, that is possible. But for now, I'm limiting the upside to this type of region for E of the triangle, and then a move down overall to complete larger wave 5, and then to consider a turn. This ties in again with euro dollar turning on the next low, somewhere down there. So this pair remains bearish, so does euro dollar overall in the bigger picture. In euro dollar, I don't have an upside move. This is corrective, just like the DX is corrective. So that's not the start of something major, in my opinion. Australian US dollar worked out really well. I've adjusted the count here as a 5-wave move. It looks like the low is in. There could be another gyration down, but it's getting a bit big for 4. So see how this moves up. Overall, I will be looking for a corrective move of some sort. If it makes a low, another low, okay. But I'll be looking for some type of corrective move going up there for the bigger picture of a triangle overall. And from that corrective move up, which would be the second part, I'll be looking for one more down into here. Because overall you have a series of threes, 3, 3, 3. And this is the first part. We'll have a second and then one more for 3 overall. And then I'll be looking for an up move. And this looks like a huge triangle. The bearish side is valid. It is prioritized here. The view is to the downside. So this pair worked out well this week. What has not worked unless you were already in it was New Zealand dollar. I mentioned for weeks now that the New Zealand dollar is the weakest currency in the world, at least from what I see. So I am looking basically for a 4 now. We've had 3 so far, so a little bit of sideways move, another down move, and that will then put in some kind of correction on this probably. Because we're looking so far from the high, I'm looking at W, X being in, and this is the first part of Y. So it'd be WX and a larger move down. So New Zealand dollar remains very bearish. Any bounce is a sell. Okay, pairs I was looking at closer recently. US Canadian dollar. That idea, original 1-2-1-2 idea here, did not work out. We've seen a larger bounce, but it looks like a corrective bounce. Just to show the overall picture, starting with the monthly, I am expecting a down move in this to 1.2 and maybe below. Well, ultimately below, yes, but first target about 1.2. And maybe using the stochastics in this to see them eventually turn back down. I would say this move will come quite soon, and I'm expecting it to be aggressive. So the daily picture overall from going back to 2016, I am viewing this as a WXYXZ move. It's become very complex. Overall, the bigger picture is basically 1, 2, 3. So I am looking higher here for another move up. Towards 138, and then I'm looking for a very aggressive move down. So far from the low, it's looking like this was a corrective move up. I'm going to hold it as that, and from there it's looking like a three-wave move is in, so we may, pardon me, a five-wave move, so it's looking like we may see W already. A correction for X, maybe back to the shooting star to let people off, which is pretty common, and then a aggressive move up for Y, and that will be the chance to sell for a very hard move down. I'm not bullish on this pair. I'm looking for this to turn lower aggressively, very quickly, once it breaks this high of 136. There are certain targets up here. I like 138, but any move above 136 will be a red flag for a reversal. Now, there is some possibility that this high, if this high can hold, there's some possibility that this was a five-wave move and there's a correction here of three waves overall. But so far that hasn't shown itself to be true, at least in terms of aggressive downside. So I'm looking for this to continue up and for an X wave to come in here for another move higher. So there's no divergence either. So I'm not bearish at this point. I'm looking for it to continue higher. If it does collapse, then I will adjust. But for now, I'm looking for another move up in US Canadian dollar. Euro Canadian dollar, I'm also looking on the monthly for another move down to complete this idea of this being 1, 2, 3 towards 1.2. Now, it is possible, if you're bullish from here, there's a scenario where we had 3 up here for first part, another correction, and we got one more to come, maybe anywhere above here, basically. So that is possible if you are bullish on this pair. I'm not trading this to the upside. I'm still on the alert for the downside. We have a five-wave move here. I'm counting this as another 5. You could paint this as a 1, 2, 3, but I'm still looking to the downside for now. There could be a flat in here. We could have had the 5-wave sequence up. We could also see another gyration and for it to extend. But ultimately, so long as it holds beneath this high, I am looking for some type of 3-wave move here to hold and to turn over and head back down. These things can get a bit complicated. What originally looks like a flat could be a different type of move or a more extended one. For example, New Zealand, Canadian dollar. This was never a flat, but I was looking for this as a channeling move. So this correction here, we had a 5-wave sequence here, and I was looking for a correction in this, and I had this channeling, and then it burst through the top. But the burst up through the top was still a bearish move because of the overall complex here and the choppiness, and it was bursting as a last part of a chopping move which preceded it. So tied together, this was corrective off of here, and then you can see it turned over very quickly. That is the kind of thing I expect in US Canadian dollar and possibly in Euro Canadian dollar. So I'm staying bearish on this complex overall, and I'll see if it turns over. There's no divergence as such yet. There is some divergence. It's not the type of divergence I prefer. There is enough for 5 in now. I will see how that materializes. I do want to get short this pair if it offers the opportunity, but I'm not just going to jump in. I can look for a small bearish impulse, or a particular divergent situation with the right candle formation, something like that, an ending pattern, preferably a bearish impulse and then a flag to get in. Those usually work very well, and they're simple trades that you don't need to pay money to learn. So going on, sticking with the euro, euro's been strong. I mean, this is the ideal situation. You have a strong currency in the euro against the weakest currency, which is the New Zealand dollar. And we've been tracking this for weeks. I've been tracking this for weeks, and I've been relaying it here through this video. 5 up, 3 down and sideways, and a blast off, which originally I was looking at corrective for a possible turn here, and it's just been relentless since then. So overall, it's still in wave 3. We may be nearing the end of it. I haven't put a labeling on this because when you're in a very bullish scenario or a very bearish one, the impulsive swings, just like corrective ones, they can mutate and morph. And so what I would originally count as, for example, 5 into here ended up extending. And that's fine if you're in the trade. You just simply don't want to stand in front of that. So any type of pattern can extend, and you have to remain flexible in the face of it. It's been a great move. I'm still looking towards 158, though we'll probably see a wave 4 correction of some sort, triangle, maybe a sharp move since this was a bit sideways-ish. So 158 still, and when this whole 5-wave sequence ends, then I'll be looking for a larger correction back to 150 or so, but not for now. Bulls have this one. Another Aussie pair, my favorite one, Aussie New Zealand. I've got it in wave 3 overall, just to show the bigger picture. 5 up for 1 or A, huge 3-wave correction of 18 months for 2 or B, and we had a 5-wave impulse, a very choppy 3-wave correction, and we are now in 1, 2, 3 here, and it's been unrelenting as a wave 3 should be. It simply has not stopped this segment. That idea of a flat did not materialize, it just kept edging up. And it looks a little bit like it's been relentless, maybe, and if you want to see it as vertical, stick it on the daily, and that is a wave 3 right there. It's just relentless. It's not even letting the 8 EMA catch up, which is the prime EMA for following. So what we have here, we're in wave 3, 1, 2, 3. This is a 4, and we have another high to come, and that next high will see us as wave 3 of 3 done. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, somewhere up here, 4 and 5, and that will be overall wave 3 done. Then we'll have a larger 4 and another high for 5 overall. And then the question enters, once we see a new high here towards 115, 116, that will be the point of asking, is this a C wave for A, B, C following a 5-wave decline? Or is this a 1, 2, 3 and an explosive move up, way up into the 1, 2s and 1, 3s? So that's a question that will eventually emerge here. But for now, with this 4 of wave 3, looking for another high, 4, 5 of 3, and a wave 4 correction, wave 5 after that. It's been a good pair, this one. New Zealand Canadian dollar, I'm still looking for another low. We've had, looks like 5 could be in on the next low here. There's going to be divergence, so a bigger correction and another chance to sell towards 9291. So there's another chance to sell there. Okay, some of the pairs I mentioned that have become more complex. Pound New Zealand, it's in wave 4. This whole complex here is wave 4. That's 3 on the bigger picture. It's wave 4 overall. I had 2 scenarios here, 177, 178 for a try, or 182 area for 4 overall. Judging how this is materialized, I'm preferring the try and a weak pound. So from wave 3, we'll be looking at A, B, C, and then D and E. So a stall out here and a move down. Alternatively, there could be a freakish bullish thing with Brexit, maybe. So just so you're aware, 1.82 is the other situation going on here. So 1, 2, 3, we're in wave 4 now. I would expect 182 to halt this, well, 1.8 basically, going back to smaller wave 4 of 3, and then a move down for 5 overall, and then the pound can take on a bullish edge of some sort. But for now, the pound is bearish. The pound is bearish. Euro pound. This has not, I don't have a count on this. This has not slowed down from here. I wanted to see a 5-wave correction here. Maybe even it was here. I can't remember. It's just been relentless so far. So at some point, we're going to see a correction. I can't be more precise than that. We may be in wave 3 now. We have a 4 and 5, and then a larger correction overall. And I do like the idea that we will eventually go up above here now. I'm counting this as 3 now as the preferred view, 4, and then this was a leading diagonal for 1 of 5, 2 of 5, and now we're in 1 of 3 of 5. There's another situation here that this could turn into some kind of triangle overall, and then another move down, but I don't prefer that now. I think the bulls have it on the Brits. The Euro bulls have it on the Brits, and this will continue up. And when we see a correction, if it's choppy at some point, that'll be a great buy for a move above 0.9. Okay, Euro Aussie 2 is looking like it's in wave 5, unless this takes on a more aggressive view. Like for right now I have it as 1, 2, 3, 4, and this could be 1, 2, 3, 4, somewhere near here for wave 5, and then I'll be looking for a larger 3-wave correction. Alternatively, if this turns more aggressive, I will have to recount this as something like 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. So we have a series of 1s and 2s. But the upside holds. There will be resistance coming in a bit higher at about 1.43 overall. And then we may see a correction too. So keep looking up in this pair. The euro is strong against the Aussie and New Zealand currencies. And pound Canadian is another one that's been disappointing. I've lost track of the count on this. I'm not bullish. We had a break of the line, but this is not an impulsive break. It's choppy, it's teetering over, so I'm looking for this to fall through. And I would need some type of like bullish impulse and flag, or a move lower and then a turn up to see a decisive breakthrough. So after much tracking of this and much recounting on the 4-hour chart, and it was going well, and then it seems to have just gone sideways. So I'm looking for this to come down overall. And if it does go up, I don't have a count on it. I mean, my count at the moment, ignoring the A and the B part here, there is a 5-wave move overall into here. So I was looking at this as 1, or A rather, B, and C, up to like 175, but I don't see that now. There's no breakout, there's no impulse, so it'll be something like, at best, I think, a move back down and then maybe something up. Or this could be a more complex wave 5. There could be something else more complex going on here, like an ending diagonal, like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 overall. And then we will see a turn on this. And the pound bulls can come back. But for now, this one is just a pair that sits on the shelf. Okay, I'll do the yens and then the dollar, gold rather, and that's it, I think. The yens also, I've lost count on them a little bit. I was tracking a bullish scenario here. This worked out. I was taking the bullish opportunity here. This worked out. We had a 5-wave move here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A very shallow 3-wave correction. Not much. It was just a 38.2 correction. And now we're impulsing in wave 3. And overall, I'm still looking for another high on this. So any high above here has the opportunity to turn over. The weekly is still turning down, so if we do see a poke above here to 1, 2, 4 and turn down, that's possible. That is the preferred count at the moment. So this was 4, and we have an opportunity here for a higher 5. So the bulls have it, and once we see a high, if it does materialize, I'll be then looking to see if this turns back over. But for now, it's bullish from the last count. And dollar yen, I've found it actually much more complicated. It's looking quite bearish here. I mean, the overall idea was this was some kind of terrible ending diagonal based off of the Brexit spike. And from there, we've seen 3 waves up. I was looking for this as 4, which has worked out. But now it's looking very suspicious. It's really looking like a 3-wave move here, where it's just 1, 2, 3, and then maybe another leg down. I mean, the idea originally is to see a move up here. Like, the short-term moves have worked out. The 5-wave count, which I've been dealing with since the beginning of making videos a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago. 3-wave correction became much steeper, but it did hold the low, and that was difficult to get into. I didn't manage it. This situation would have been probably getting in here and having your stop beneath the 5-wave structure. However, it impulsed from there well in a 5-wave move, but this has confused me, and so has this up move too. And I'm actually looking at this as 3, and maybe this is the first part of that, and a move down now, even though the overall pattern is looking higher. So maybe there's some complex situation coming here for 4. I don't know, but I'm putting this one on the shelf too until I see some more clarity, because the bull side has worked out well, but there is uncertainty now. Shooting star, another shooting star, 3-wave-ish looking move, downward stocks. It's looking suspicious, so I'll see how this materializes now. It's possible the bullish side has exhausted as a 3-wave move. And finally, gold. 5 waves for a leading diagonal. I'm dealing with this as A. Overall as a correction. We're looking for B too, and then another move down. There may be enough in this move now. I can count it as 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 3, wave 4, and then 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5. So maybe A is in. We'll see a corrective move for B. Either there's another low here, or I would say the low is probably in for A. So a corrective move for B, to some extent, I would say. And I would still look for one more low for C. So it would be like 5 waves here, a leading diagonal, 3 waves, and then a turn higher for either the start of a very bullish wave 3 overall, or just a ABC overall with a new high and then a turn down once more. I've been over this many times now. This 3-wave move overall in 2016, this 3-wave correction is enough to justify a continued move higher. I cannot posit another move down. I mean, this would be the first part. This is the second, and one more. That's possible too, but I cannot position myself for that to be a certainty, because the overall possibility is that this 3-wave move can be enough. So if we have a 3-wave move here and we turn up once more towards 1280, like for example the weekly trend line, and it fails and comes back down, then I would deal with the situation of one more low. But until then, I prefer the idea to take an aggressive move here if we see another correction, to take a long position and to see how it reacts at 1280 and if it breaks through. Because the gold bulls can really come to life on the next move up. So I'm maintaining a bullish slant on this. Because this is a 5-wave move overall, I will be looking for this low to hold. So even if it's a deeper correction, like, even if it's a deeper correction like this, I mean the bigger picture like 3, even if it comes down all the way to here, I will be bullish on this with a stop beneath this low. Just as on US dollar, yen. I mean, I went over this in a video about wave 2s not breaking wave 1 lows. US dollar yen came down very deep in this, way below the 78.6, but it held. It held this low for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It held this five-wave move here. And then the up move since then has been very good, about 400 points so far. Even if it's suspicious now, it's been a good move. So if that kind of situation materializes in gold, and we do see a deeper correction overall for Baker 2, that's fine, but I would deal with that on a failure here if it comes back up. I would rather stay long because the upside has the potential here. The bearish side was here. The upside is here. Okay, this whole box region. That's your bullish zone. That's my bullish zone anyway. Anywhere here. I mean, I'm holding this as the low, but just to say, if there's a miscount and there's a break, I'm still holding this as a bullish area to 900. But for now, with a five-wave move, this is my low, this is my breaking point, and I'm using this as a bullish count now. So I think that's it. Just one moment. Yeah, I think that's it. So I'll update next week if there are developments. I like to do these every day, but if there's no development, I skip a day, or if there's uncertainty, I skip a day as well. So I will follow this up, and I wish you all a good week. And if you have any ideas to share, let me know. And good luck with everything. Bye-bye.